The following video was recorded privately with the Head-On community. The Head-On community is a group of individuals that meet almost daily to have good faith discussions about a whole array of contentious issues. If this is the kind of community you'd like to join, check out that link in the description. We'd love to have you join us, and I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, thank you everybody. Thank you for joining. Mohamad Jamous, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you so much, Adar, and thanks for everyone in this room for having me today, and to share our visions, to share our thoughts, to share our situation, to share our feelings towards everyone.
Amen. You and I have been, call it online friends now for many years, and I've always been inspired by your dedication and the work you've done. You're just relentless. You have a very clear vision and message for peace, and no matter how the situation on the ground changes, your principles don't seem to change. So I've been inspired by you, and it's an honor to finally have you here for a conversation. So let's just start by share a little bit about yourself. Where do you live? What is the work you do? What is your vision?
Sure. So my name is Mohamad Jamous. I'm 34 years old. I'm doing my master's degree right now in political science, international relations, and diplomacy at the Arab American University here in Ramallah. I was born in Jerusalem. I lived in Jericho for 30 years. 4 years ago, I moved to live in Ramallah. So currently, I live in Ramallah here. I started my work as Palestinian peace activist since 15 years. When I was a kid. I got involved for many different organizations in the West Bank, such as One Voice Palestine, PPC, different organizations, and the vision of peace that I have actually it's like the band. It's like the band. What is peace for us? Because I think that for each one of us, we see the word peace is something different. Which is for Muhammad, peace is to share your humanity towards everyone. Peace is to talk about, or to talk, let's say, about all sides. Doesn't matter, but unfortunately, that there's not much people who are following this topic about peace. Because as I said, each one of us, he has his own way to define peace. My vision in this work, actually, I have two visions. The first vision is to share my Palestinian culture, to share the suffering of my people, to share the struggling of the Palestinian people. And the second vision is to share my peace work, to share my humanity towards everyone. And to put my courage in this work, because you can't be peacemaker without having this courage in your heart. So yes, I have worked for many interfaith international organizations in the past 10 years. I worked as Palestinian program director for the Children of Abraham organization in the States, Abrahamic Reunion, Debate for Peace, Interfaith Encounter Association. So I have worked for many organizations, but 2 years ago I stopped working for any organization. So just since 2 years till now, I'm just sharing my voice on the social media, and yes. So this is me in 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mohammed. So one thing that is I hear from my Palestinian peace activist friends is that they sometimes get backlash from their family or friends for the work they do. I mean, even in Israel, it's I don't know if there's backlash for the work, but certainly it's not. We're considered naive, and it's almost frowned upon. There's so much praise for militarism, but not much praise for those trying to engage in the peace process. So, what is the reaction your family and friends have to the work that you do?
Well, my family, they supported me since actually. Since I was born to be this activist, or to be like this maker, because if you got the right raise from your parents, from your family, to be like a human being before just to be Israeli or like Palestinian or to be peacemakers. So if you got this right way for raising from your parents how to be a human being, So my family, they supported me and they still support me till this moment. About my friends, yeah, like I have so many friends who supported Muhammad. Maybe they have like different thoughts about my thoughts, different visions about my vision, which is nature, But yeah, I have a big supporter here in the West Bank, and actually, when I used to work with the Abrahamic Reunion, I used to organize interfaith programs every month. So there's a huge supporter from Palestinians who lives in the West Bank for those organizations, like for this way, which is for me, it's yes, like in the last 2 years, like since October 7th has changed everything, like in the world. It's not just in Israel, Palestine, we mean like in the world. But yeah, like there's some people who still holding hope in their heart, in their hearts. But yeah, I have and they supported me, like as I said, since I was born.
That's beautiful to hear. And
Yeah.
so last week we actually had a conversation with Rami Aman, who I'm sure you know, and he shared about how he spent 6.5 months in a Gazan prison for the peace work he was doing. We do know that the PA is a fair bit more moderate than Hamas, but how does the PA react to the work you do? Are they supportive? Have you had any issues with them?
Yeah. First of all, as I told you, if you believe in something, like if you believe in like specific way, you will do it. Doesn't matter. And as I said before, if you have, it's not if you have. Actually, you should have this courage, to do something that you believe in. Okay, despite all the government, despite all the security, let's say. But if you have something that you believe, you should do it. For me personally, like I'm not seeing myself that I'm doing something wrong. Like I'm not seeing I'm not seeing myself as a traitor, for example, because as I told you in the beginning, Adar, to be a peacemaker, because there's many people who have their own ways to work for peace. Okay, for Muhammad, what is peace for me? Peace for me is to share the suffering that Palestinian people having here, to share about the occupation, to share about what Muhammad believed. Okay, so this is my belief. You can accept it, you can accept it, you can reject it, but it should be like with respect, right? And for me, yes, I was in the prison twice, like in 6 years ago, and actually I think that you've been with us in Jericho.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like and the next day, I went like I was in the jail for like 2 days, and just like it was questions about my work. So I told them that
Mm.
this is something that is not wrong. This is something that I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I want like to live in peace and freedom and justice, equality, like and like it's not something wrong. Okay. Um, you can listen. You can find. You can actually. You can always find like those people who are just trying to stop you, who is trying to take you down. But you have your own way, Ada. So I have my own way, and this is something that I'm not actually like. Peace work for me is something that is planted in my blood. Like I can't, for example, like staying 1 week, like for example, without talking my friends in Israel, and the problem is that in this world, when there's, for example, Palestinian, he work for peace with Israeli, they think that he's like a traitor. And when there's Israeli, he work, or like when there's like a Jewish person, he work he work for peace with Palestinian, he's also traitor, which is not a traitor. It's something it's just like that you be like a human being, So maybe for those people, like you are a traitor because like they don't live here, they don't live in our land, And what is upset me about that I really appreciate all the support from all from all the world, but no one can feel us, and no one can know what is happening here. No one can know the reality of the Holy Land, just the people who lives here. So yeah, there are so many people in Europe, in the States, here and there, and they are talking like on our behalf. But what is upset me is that only Palestinian and Israel who lives in Israel Palestine, we know like what is the reality, because in the time that there's like a conflict in the world, because of the war, but we are here like talking to each other, right? So which is weird. So yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for sharing that. You mentioned Jericho, so just to give the viewer some context, this was in 2017 or 18, I believe. We had it was part of the Abrahamic Reunion. It's this organization that brings Jews, Muslims, and Christians together for these conversations and conferences. And this happened to be in Jericho, which is Area A, and Israelis technically are not allowed to enter without permission. We assumed that the guide, the organizer, had it all worked out. We all went there the first evening, and it was an awesome day. We were having these conversations, getting to know one another. And then in the evening, a bunch of students, Palestinian students from a local university, showed up to the gate of the hotel where we were staying and started protesting. There was nothing violent, but they were protesting. We were informed that this was happening, and then I believe there were two Israeli women that were there with us. They kind of freaked out at this whole situation, so they called the Israeli authorities, and then it kind of escalated things. And then next thing we know, a bunch of Palestinian police in pickup trucks with AK-47s showed up to escort us off the premises, and then we all had to leave. And that was the first time I actually saw such clear coordination between the PA and Israel, because we're kind of driving in our cars behind these pickup trucks. The pickup trucks pull over and they wave to us to continue. We continue, and then maybe 100 meters later, the IDF was there waiting for us, and then they stopped us. None of us got in trouble except for Eliyahu McLean, the organizer, who's a great guy, but they arrested him on the spot for bringing us all in there. And I didn't realize that you also got in some trouble. Was that just you, or was it all the Palestinians involved?
No, actually, just for your information, I was the organizer in Jericho, so I was like I organized everything. So yeah, because like when they came, so they just asked like who's the person who's like organizing this event. So all of them they say, hey, Muhammad. So hey, where is Muhammad? So yeah, like I was the person who's organizing this event.
Okay, well, I'm glad it was only 2 days, and I guess it's nearly impossible to achieve greatness if there's no risks involved.
Yeah, yeah.
When it comes to actual solutions, like what do you see as the end goal? Do you envision one state? Do you prefer two states, federation, confederation? What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, there's no solution right now for one state. Okay, maybe in the past, right now, and especially after October 7th, there's no solution for one state, because one state we will say like at the same situation. Okay, so I prefer right now two-state solutions. Okay, each one he has like his own country, his own army, his own life, and yeah, for one-state solution, I don't believe in like one-state solution anymore, and especially after October 7th. So yeah, I think that two-state solutions that it should work.
Okay. And I did see I did see a bunch of polling, and it seems like the two-state solution amongst Palestinians very well may be at an all-time high. The increase in support for two-state solution since October 7th amongst Palestinians has increased significantly. Interestingly, amongst Israelis, it's decreased. So we had a little bit of a reversal there. One of the concerns, and I want to hear what you think about this, but one of the concerns many Israelis have is that if there's two states, then we'll just have another like Hamas take over the West Bank, and then we're going to have them need to deal with them on two fronts, and they just don't think it'll be a safe or stable situation for Israelis. I believe this is why they think why support has gone down. What are your thoughts on that?
But listen, first of all, Hamas is not just Hamas is not just like the problem here, Adar. Okay, and we should we should be clear, and we should know we should tell the truth. That is not just about Hamas. Okay, and this is first. Second, that in the West Bank there's not Hamas. Okay, and third of all, that the army, like the Israeli army, like recently, and said that in the last year they cleaned everything in the West Bank, and they work 24 hours, even riding all the Palestinian cities, and so there's no Hamas in the West Bank. About Gaza is something else, I don't have right now a clear vision about Gaza and what will happen, because they said that the BA they will go to control Gaza, but we don't know yet, For me, that it just I believe that the problem is that the Israeli government, they don't understand that by this language that they are using, in the West Bank, in Gaza. Let me talk about the West Bank, because I live in the West Bank. So by this language, the first language, it will not achieve anything. It will not achieve peace. They think that it's because it's a small area, and they can do everything. But the truth is you don't destroy Palestinian, but you are making a new generation of Palestinian who's just standing for their lands, So if we didn't work together as people, not as leaders, because as we know, recently, all the leaders, in our side, in your sides, in the States, they just destroyed everything, which is something is not it's unacceptable, from my side, and it's not the solution. But in the West Bank, so there's no Hamas. There's Hamas in Gaza, and I don't know what will happen right now. I'm talking about Gaza. In the West Bank, it's something else.
So you think a Palestinian state in the West Bank would? I just want to be able to reassure Israelis, because the best way we could find a solution is if both sides feel good about the solution, right? Both sides need some kind of reassurance, and right now, the main concern of Israelis is that whatever Palestinian state will be won't be stable, and that there'll just be more violence, and that will concede territory, concede, let's say, a military advantage, and it'll be all for nothing, right? This is the concern most Israelis have. So I want to hear from you, a Palestinian peace activist, how we can reassure them,
You know what? It will listen. It will remain in this situation. When you put all the Palestinians in the West Bank in an environment as a prison for them, of course, you will face all of this,
Right.
Because the problem is that all the world, they are talking about peace and talking about this situation, but how you want me as Palestinian to come to make peace with my neighbors in Israel? Okay, and if you fighting me, if you killing me, if you raiding my city, if you raiding my house at 3-4 in the morning, what peace we are talking about, So there's just one solution. If you didn't give all the Palestinians their freedom, their justice, their equality, of course it will we will stay in this situation. Nothing will change,
Right.
Because the problem is that there's so many people that they think peace is just to make peace between Israel and Palestine, to give all the Israelis safety, security, freedom, justice, but for the Palestinian, we don't care, Of
Correct.
course not, Yeah, of course not. So, and just for your information, for me as Muhammad, there is a difference between resistance and between terrorism. Okay, I believe in resistance. Yeah, of course I believe in it because of course I believe in resistance that in 3 or 4 in the morning when you come to my house when you pick my mom, of course I will not be silent. And Adar, the word that they should know that Israeli and Palestinian people they have energy, they have heat. Like I'm sorry, but we are not cold people. Okay, and for sure, for example, if I come if I come like to your house and I beat your mom, you will kill me. You will eat me. So like this is the truth.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
there's a difference between resistance and between terrorism, and it's not all the Palestinians who, for example, fighting for their land. They are like tourism. They are
Right.
like they are like tourists. So yeah,
You're
and this is
Yeah, no, you're making a very important point that the status quo currently will always produce more violence. That it's a status quo that will always produce more violence. And you brought up an interesting point that there's no Hamas in Gaza, and
in
that's
the West Bank, you mean?
yeah, in the West Bank, because we so often use them as a scapegoat. We say Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. How can we have peace? But we've had security cooperation as well as a recognition of Israel's right to exist from the PA for decades now. And the PA hasn't achieved all too much. Israel has continued to expand outward. Settlements are continuing to be built. People wait at Palestinians need to wait at checkpoint. They're humiliated. We have immoral home searches, like you mentioned. So in the minds of Palestinians, at least this is what I've gathered from my Palestinian friends, when they see on one hand cooperation with Israel has led to more Israeli expansion, and violence in Gaza has actually got us to leave Gaza. All that does is reinforce in the mind of Palestinians that violence works and cooperation doesn't work. Israel made a huge mistake by, on one hand, rewarding violence and what's the opposite of rewarding, and call it punishing cooperation. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I think that you are right, because listen, sorry. First of all, no one in this world had the right to tell us where to live and where to stay, where to live for this land, No one, not Trump, not Netanyahu, not anyone in this world. Okay, and when you treat like Palestinian, that it's okay. Like you have you have a violence, for example, like in your area, just go to Jordan, to Egypt. Why should they go? Why? Why? I don't understand. It's here's, as I told you, there's something that the world, and especially all the leaders, and especially Trump, that they don't have this education, which is all the Palestinians who are referred to their land, they don't care if they don't have house. They don't care if his house is destroyed. If he lives in a small tent. So they don't have this education about Palestinian. And I'm not just talking about Gaza. I'm talking also about the West Bank. So it's no one should live from here. Non-Palestinian and non-Jewish, non-Arab, non-Israeli, not anyone. Who's live here in this land? Okay, this is for me. This is it's the land for everyone. Okay, what happened in the past? It just happened. You can't change the past, Adar, because till today there's so many people who are just talking about the past. Israel occupied Palestine, blah blah blah. What happened in the past? You can't change it. Okay, if you wanna create a new generation of peaceful persons, peaceful people, if you wanna make peace, you should focus on the future. You should focus on the next day. There's just a small funny story, a small story, which is very funny story. Last year I had meeting with my friends, Jewish Palestinian friends, and one Palestinian and one Israeli, they were fight about something. Do you know like about what? About hummus. No, this is our hummus. No, this is our hummus. Which is when we got this point that we are fight about the bus. We are fight about something stupid. It's we will not create a new future of peace.
Let that be what we're fighting over. Hummus. I'm cool
Yeah,
with that. We're
they
gonna.
say they say make hummus not war, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're gonna open it up to some audience questions. In the meantime, I wanted to share an idea we had. So I didn't tell you much about Head On and what we're building, but we're essentially building a platform designed for people with opposing viewpoints. We're developing an AI facilitator that will help these conversations uh, flow smoothly. So we'd love to have you part of this, and we really want to have a strong contingent of many Palestinian peace activists. We really want to help give them a voice, not only a voice, but a means to monetize their voice. So this is something we can have a deeper conversation on at a later date, but I'm just putting it out there that this is what inspired this conversation. And one thing that we're thinking of doing, we're trying to think of what content can we do to help us achieve growth, right? We want to do viral
Mm.
content connected to conversation that will help drive traffic to the platform we're building. So an idea that we have is to set up some kind of a dialogue session in Ramallah, kind of like what we did back in Jericho, but to do it in Ramallah.
Jericho.
Right, but we want to do this in Ramallah. So is this something that you think is feasible? And if so, can you help us do something like this where Israelis and Palestinians can have a safe place in Ramallah where
Of
they
course,
can sit and talk?
of course, yeah, of course. And I think that this is right now the most thing that we need, Adar, because if we didn't if we didn't like come together in person, if we didn't meet, to feel each other's, we will not do anything. And there's a very important point that I should share. I want to thank all the Israeli and Palestinian peacemakers, who's right now traveling to all the world, just like sharing our story. But this is not enough, Like for me, it's not because for me, like I was in the States, I was in Canada, I was in Europe. I shared many things, but I'm just talking right now, Adar, after October 7th, because for me, after like since October 7th till today, this stage, it's a huge stage for me, and I was affected like in this time. So for them, like it's not enough. Uh, I have a dream right now, which is that we can really change like the situation, and by just like talking like today and like tomorrow we forget everything. It doesn't work like in this way, right? Because there's right now so many like groups, organizations who are like meeting and talking, and the next day they just like forget everything, which
Mm-hmm.
is yeah.
No,
But I would be so happy if we can meet in Ramallah here. And yes, of course, like I could arrange uh, a good place to meet, and also like you can just like stay in my apartment in Ramallah. Like there's no problem. You just like pay $500 each day. But
we can negotiate a price, no problem.
yeah. So yeah, of course.
Okay, well, look, we are our goal, besides just building a platform that connects, millions of people around the world, we want to build an army of peacemakers, that can work together
Yalla.
to actually change things. So it's an honor to be on this journey with you.
Yalla, yalla, I'm so happy.
Does anybody in the chat want to hop on and ask some questions? I saw that Justin asked what your Twitter is. Are you on Twitter? I did.
Sorry?
Uh, Justin's asking if you have Twitter.
No,
You're not
no,
on Twitter.
no,
Eh,
sorry.
you're
Yeah.
probably better off not having Twitter. All good. Beata, yeah, hop on.
Hello. Thanks so much for the call, for the talk. It's very inspiring to hear your story and your experiences. Um, so just another member named Justin and I, who's on this call right now, so feel free to add on. And he's a Palestinian from the West Bank also, and he believes that the Western voices who are advocating for Palestinians are a very powerful voice for progressing Palestinian liberation. And I'm curious what you think about the huge wave of Western support for the Palestinian cause and what influence they can have in terms of helping further
Yeah.
Palestinian liberation.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for this point. Listen, as Palestinian, who lives in the West Bank, I really like appreciate all the supporters, and I mean here all the supporters for Palestine, not for anyone else. And I think that you understand me. Um, uh, um, uh, about the voices, listen, like I want to raise our voices. I want to raise like my voice as Palestinian to share about my suffering personally, to share about my people suffering, and to share about that no one no one understand till now that during this war and during this situation, we are like talking like Arab and Jewish every day, which is I'm so sorry just because I'm here not in my house, so I don't have like the freedom of talking like what I want to talk. But yeah, because here I'm in the city center. Anyway, I really appreciate all voices just for Palestine, not for any organization, not for any leaders, because for me as Muhammad, I'm like considering myself as a pro-Palestinian, pro-peace, anti-occupation, anti-Hamas, anti-settlers, anti-violence. Just I'm this person that I want to live. I want to go to visit Adar, like without any checkpoint, without any humiliation. I want Adar to come to my city to live, to visit Ramallah without fearing, without tension. This is what we want.
Yeah, but I'm just curious if you think the net, if there's been net good and positive benefits from the protests in the Western countries as opposed to net negative because of the negative press that these protests have been receiving.
Okay, actually, it's like demand. It's like demand for me. Okay, demand that if you are trying to raise my voice as Palestinian who have like this situation, or if you are trying to support a specific organization or like to raise their voices, because for me, I will like I will like appreciate your voice if you are like support me protesting for like Muhammad, his situation, blah blah blah. But if you are trying to support any organization, like specific organizations, I will not be happy. And also like by protesting, there's also like a way to protest. Okay, it's not by like creating violence. It's not by like beating like other people. And what we see like recently, I think like 6, 7 months ago, it was I think in Europe. I don't know where exactly. I forget. When like Palestinian are with Israelis are with Palestinian, which is it's make like a big conflict like in this situation. But yeah, I support all the voices who just trying to raise our voices in the West Bank, in Gaza. And here I'm talking about civilians, about innocents, about children, about women, and that's it. Not like I'm not mean that because that there's so many people who are supporting specific organizations from our side, which is it's as I told you, like I'm anti all of these organizations, and there's also like very important point. We can't, when you live in the West Bank, you can't talk in freedom. You can't raise your voice. Like, I think I am the only one, or maybe there's some Palestinian who live in the West Bank that they have like a courage, okay, to post on the social media about the hostages. But like for me, I did it many times. You know why? Because like I'm not seeing them like as, I'm just seeing them as a human being, you know, as a people, okay. But for some people, Muhammad is traitor. For like another people, you know, which is it's like this word is a crazy word, you know. Why you can't just accept that this like there's Palestinian person who is trying to raise his voice, who is trying to talk about his people, about occupation, about the suffering, about the struggling. In the other side, is talking about the like the, you know, the living together. Why? Why should, I mean, why should I be or this side or this side? You know, which is yeah.
Thank you. Beata, anything else, or on to the next question?
It depends if anyone else wants to go. I don't want to take up all the time. Of course, I have more.
Yeah, Justin's asking if Justin Yahapan, you want to clarify something? Floor is yours.
Yeah, because بيارة أولا مرحبا محمد يعطيك العافية.
الله يعافيك.
تشرفنا كتير. The thing that Beata mentioned about our discussion was that, just to clarify, it wasn't that Western support is essential, but it was rather that in the Arab world, we're very restricted on what we can do. Like, for example, in Jordan right now, you're having mass demonstrations in support of the king who's in Washington. Because and the fact is that these demonstrations would be suppressed if it wasn't in line with what he wanted. So Western support in many ways is a double-edged sword for us, but I would say that it's more positive than negative. You do have the anti-Semites, you do have the radicals that seem to get all the attention, 90% of the attention, but I don't believe that they're the majority. But on the other hand, you do have the other people who are the majority, and they are basically the voice of human rights and international law and dignity for the Palestinian people. And you know, if you've lived a little bit longer, you would have seen the progress of speaking. Like, the word Palestinian wasn't mentioned in the 1970s and 80s unless it was associated with a terrorist organization. You wouldn't see political discussions of Palestine in the halls of Congress. This was just like a taboo. So this has been because of that effort. Palestinian existence in the West has really been established by these groups, and I think that has made an overall positive, and it continues. And even people like, I believe it was David Friedman, former U.S. ambassador, in an interview with Yishai Fleischer, he said, we are in trouble in the West because people are gaining momentum. And this is why we need to act now in the West Bank. We need to start annexing and taking. So this means that the power that be that is controlling Israeli expansion in the West Bank is threatened by this. So that tells me that it is positive.
It could be, yeah, Justin. Like it could be. Listen, like I'm not involved, like, you know, very very well, like with these like, we know, with these voices. So as I told you, there's like this the Western voices. I don't know. It's maybe it treats some topics. Maybe it's talk about the excess. For me, as like I'm trying to be like far of the politics, and despite that, I studied like politics, you know. But for me, I'm trying to stay far of the politics, you know. But in the other side, that again and again and again, you know. I believe in the existence of Palestine, of Israel, of Arab and Jewish, you know, and who's trying to raise their voices from the both sides. I mean, you know, they will get my support. But in the other hand, that, for example, like if these voices are treating Israel like that, or like if these voices are like making positive, negative points, I don't know, you know. like I don't want like to get involved in this, okay? But I don't know what to tell you exactly about this. Maybe for some people, maybe for some organizations, it's a negative point, But yeah, for me, as I talked at the beginning, like if these, yeah.
I was gonna say,
No,
and it kind of leads to the question that I wanted to ask before Beata, because I think what you said, I really agree with you, and I think me and you kind of come on the same terms. And it's interesting because, my city is very close to where you live right now, and I've
Where?
lived both in the West, in Bethlehem, and I live both in the U.S. and in Palestine, and. And it's interesting because the perspective of people like you and me seems to be so different from those in the U.S. And I think Beata, she's fairly, I think, more recently graduated, and I have visited U.S. campuses right now, and it's a way different world. The U.S. campus right now is a different world than like when I went to school. The attitudes of people, and even among Palestinians, like the Palestinians in the United States are much more, how should I say? I don't want to say radicalized, but have stronger opinions.
Yeah, we can say like متعصبين أكثر ممكن.
Exactly, معصبين أكتر بكتير, and which means like they're more hardline, I should say. That's the word.
Do you know why? Do you know why, Justin?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because most of my relatives, I want to say half my relatives, live in the United States, and they've never been to Palestine. Is because and it's sort of like the Jewish people in America as well. There's reality and there's fantasy, and I think that but here's the other thing. The only issue I have is that now when in Palestine, if you ask, like Adar was saying, the majority of people support a two-state solution. But if you want to do it by generation, if you go to people who are 25 and younger, you're going to find less people. These people are more radicalized because I think they don't have a memory of the first or second intifada. They don't have a memory of actual war. They only know that I have not seen the sea my whole life. I'm 17, 18 years old, and I've never been to the shores of the Mediterranean. And I think that this has created a more radical element. And in Palestinian societies, people below the age of 18 tend to be 40, 50, sometimes 60% of the population, depending on where you are in the West Bank. And people like Mohamad and myself, 34 and older, we're going to have a much different perspective on things because we're much more grounded in reality.
Exactly.
I saw look, we have like 10 minutes left. I don't need to facilitate this anymore. Y'all are very well versed with having these free-flowing conversations. So I saw a few people want to chime in and ask questions. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick, but take it from here, community.
I'd love to go for it, mate.
Yeah, please do.
So also, like, aside from a question that I do have, but also to touch on the topic that Justin and Muhammad were speaking on. So you're speaking about that the Palestinian people, the current younger generation, they did not witness the first intifada, the second intifada, but I would argue that you're witnessing what's currently happening. So yes, you do have a point when it comes, they're only looking forward to seeing the sea, they're looking forward to enjoying a more luxurious, or I wouldn't say luxurious, but a more humane life than the ones that they're currently having, and they haven't seen the worst. But they have seen the worst to what's happening to their neighbors, to what's happening on the other side of the world, where their Palestinians living elsewhere. So they've witnessed what's currently happening in Gaza. And I would say this is, when it comes to how it is, I wouldn't say to the atrocities, because I wouldn't know, but when it comes to how it is portrayed, it is way more atrocious than any of the previous intifadas. The second question that I had specifically to Muhammad, first of all, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for I'm your neighbor here from Egypt. Thank you so much for having this talk, and I do appreciate you sharing your voice and learning more about your experience. You absolutely. You mentioned that you're advocating for a two-state solution, and Adar mentioned that what's currently impeding this is obviously the lack of guarantee from Hamas. when it comes to destruction, when it comes to anything that could impact Israel in the future. And you've also mentioned, which is a great point, that how can we guarantee something when ourselves were living on like the Palestinians living in the West Bank, that there is no Hamas there, they're also living hell each and every day. So aside from these 2 points, which I believe many people talk about, how do you envision a two-state solution impacting the daily lives of Israelis and Palestinians alike if there was a magical solution that provided guarantees for both of these sides? Like how do you, as a Palestinian, seeing like a two-state solution, while you know that like the current like younger population, they do have this hatred to each other aside from the governments. So how do you envision you living on your daily life in two-state solution?
Yeah, thank you so much for mentioning all of this. Let me just like back to the first point that you mentioned about the generation. Maybe for me, as like 34 years, I was like in the second intifada, and I have experience, like about the second intifada. But you should know that the new generation, the our kids in the West Bank, let's say, okay, like 20 years old, 25 years old, that they was born in this environment, okay. So it's very nature. It's very nature when you're born in this environment of the violence, of the occupation, of the shooting, of the rising cities. Okay, it's but like they didn't born in environment of a freedom of like going like to see the sea of like no, of course not. And for me, it's very nature. Okay, and I don't blame them. Do you know why? Because my rule right now is, as 34 years old, educate them to the right way. Okay. Second, about the vision, about the two-state solution, for me is not acceptable, and it will not acceptable. Okay, to live under Ben Gvir, to live under the control of Bibi Netanyahu, Ben Gvir, Smotrich, all of these leaders. Because for me they are like war crimes. Okay, and when I said that two-state solutions, because listen, one-state solution for me, and actually it's not just for me, it's for all the Palestinians. Okay, we will not stay in this situation to live under the control of the Israeli government, that they are like that they are like killing us every day. And sorry, but like 2 days ago I was in the hospital in Ramallah here, and I donated a blood for this kid that he's from Tulkarem. I don't know if you saw his video, that just he was like shooted like by Israeli sniper in Tulkarem like a few days ago. And what is his fault? So he was born in this environment. Okay, and so for me the vision is that if we have two-state solutions, so I can go to see the sea, I can have like my freedom, I can have my justice, but to stay in this situation and like to live under the control of like Ben Gvir and Netanyahu and all of this. And we know that since October 7th till today, there's more than 61,000 killed in Gaza. Okay, why? Because of Hamas. And listen, for me, as I told you, it's not the problem just like the situation here in Israel Palestine is not just Hamas. Okay, it's not just there's like many things that we have to discuss. Okay, because I know that October 7th it was difficult, it was hard, but it doesn't start in October 7th. It starts like 70 years before October 7th. For us as a Palestinian, and for your information, all the Palestinians, they don't have any problem with Jewish. We don't have any problem with Jewish. Of course not. We have a problem with the Zionists. We have a problem with the occupation. We have a problem with the people who want to destroy us. Okay, but about Jewish, come, I will take you right now to the main street, to like Israeli street, and you will find many Palestinian and Jewish are like working together till now, till today. So there's no problem like with this. Yeah. So.
Great. Adam, did you want to say something?
I had a quick question here.
thank you very much for coming and for sharing with us and for doing all the work that you're doing. Um, just about the last point, you have no problem with Jews that come and have these discussions with us, work with us. I'm very curious about the prospect of, let's say, like creating conversation spaces in the West Bank, but in Area A, in Ramallah, between Jews and Palestinians. And do you know, like, I mean, in Ramallah, bringing American Jews who might, well, you can call them Zionists or not Zionists, whatever, they have some sympathy for Israel. And they want to have an open discussion. Are you aware of things like that happening in Ramallah? And if not, are you? Okay, would it be safe to do this? Because you say that Jews come. I want to actually do this. I will tell you a small secret. Okay, that since October 7th till this moment, there's so many people who live in Israel, Israeli nationalities, citizen Israeli. I'm not talking about American passport and Jewish American. I'm talking about Jewish who lives in Israel, and they are coming to Ramallah every week. So it's completely safe. Okay. Wait. Sorry. Can you say like about like their profile? Like what do you like? What kind of people are we talking about? Peacemakers. Peace activists, like people like who's working for like organizations like peace organizations. And it's clear to the Palestinians that the folks in Ramallah, these are Israelis that are coming. But like they're not coming like to speak Hebrew in the city for sure. But I mean and it's not allowed for them to come. But I mean that they are coming. And they are coming. They meet their friends. They're like Palestinian friends. Doesn't matter if it's in Ramallah, if it's in Jericho, Bethlehem. But they are like they are meeting. It's not a big problem, and it's like completely safe. Would it be okay if this were like? And I know I'm pushing the limit here. I'm trying, but like. One of the things we've been thinking about is creating
Adam, I think you may have not been on the call. We already spoke about this, and just to save time, he said he'd love to be involved and help us set it up in Ramallah to do these conversations, and that we can do it, and that we can do it in a way that's safe. Maybe to even push this question to an even further extreme, Mohamad, remember the viral hug experiment I did in East Jerusalem in 2016? We got yeah, I remember. Yeah, what if I were to try that again, but in Ramallah now?
Not right now, Adar.
Not right now. Okay. I'll wait for your word. Okay, we'll do it when the time is.
Listen. I'm also like care about you, like
no, for sure.
I mean, like I like the group. So if there's, for example, if there's like 1% like risk or danger, like we will not do it, But when we said that, yes, you guys, you can come here, we can talk, but like we will not stand in the city center from us to say, hey, we are Palestinian and Israeli, and so we are, Like,
yeah.
Well, this way,
I do like to live on the edge, so I'm willing to take up to 4% risk if you think we could do it. But
I'm telling you, there's many things that even I can't share. But there's like meetings. It's happening every week in the West Bank, in Israel, like between Palestinian and Israeli, and it's completely fine, But like we doing this in like silent way. It's not that we are like publishing everything on the social media. But I mean here as a friend, as a family, like we are meeting as a friend, as a family, and sometimes they are like staying in my apartment in Ramallah, and this is not for sure at this point. So, so we can arrange like a meeting here, and there's so many places, and we can talk like all the night.
Awesome. So
I can recommend some knafa spots.
I will bring a very, very delicious knafa actually from Ramallah.
Which is your favorite?
Evil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I prefer Eker.
Oh, no. You work with the Mossad right now. He's doing everything.
Guys, this has been great. Look, we're still in open hours, so Mohamad, we normally continue these conversations longer. I know it's late. If you need to hop off, you can hop off. But I think people here would like to stay and continue chatting. I think they'll stay regardless of if you hop off or not. So
No, it's okay. I'm here. If you would like to stay to talk more, so I'm here.
cool. So I'm gonna the recording is gonna stop now. So for those watching this on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. If you want to join the community, you find that link in the description. And yeah, I'm signing off, but let the conversation flow.